To the top, here I go, think I'm chosen to be the king of rock, think the people have spoken. I can hear the tick-tock of the clock, I'm in motion. So now I'm gonna pop, causing all this commotion. Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable.
Tonight to do a review for NXT on June 1st, 2021. My name is Eric, and this is my buddy Damon, and you can find our social media descriptions in the description box below. And if you're finding this for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put out new content here on our channel. So tonight's NXT opened up with what I thought was going to be the main event, but they ended up putting on the first match on the show. It was the #1 Contenders triple threat match, Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano for the #1 contendership to Karrion Kross's NXT Championship. This was a great match. I just kind of don't like how it ended. So we'll get into that here. This match was going swimmingly, going awesome. I was really into it. And then Adam Cole returned, and we haven't really seen him outside of some backstage interviews since Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend. And he returned and runs down with a steel chair, attacking Dunne and O'Reilly from behind as fans boo. Rightfully so, because he ruined a good match here. Johnny Gargano approaches at the ropes, but Cole throws the chair at him. Referee tries to stop Cole, but Cole strikes him. Cole drops Dunne on the floor with a brainbuster, catching a part of the chair, it looks like. He decks O'Reilly and then enters the ring to level Gargano as the boos continue. That's when NXT General Manager William Regal comes down with security, ordering Cole out of the ring. Cole leaves, but super kicks O'Reilly on his way up the ramp, and we go to commercial as fans booing, and he tells Regal, "You need me." So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the fact that Cole basically laid everybody out, because obviously Cole wants a shot at the NXT title here. Yeah. I just hate how it ruined a good match. That's all. What are your thoughts?
But I mean, it's been a while since Cole's had the title.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the last time he had it, because I just started getting into NXT deeply ever since Mania. So, but yeah, from what I understand, it's been a bit. But
I mean, he's come back after that unsanctioned match, after what he said 2 months.
Yeah. And I mean,
he feels that title is still his, and he wants a shot. So, I mean, it's a statement maker. It's like, kind of, not necessarily spoiling, but later on in the show, he comes out to the ring and essentially says that. He's like, I just took out your 3 competitors that were vying for the #1 contendership.
Yeah.
In one night.
Yeah. And it was a great beatdown. Absolutely.
My shot time.
Yeah.
It's my shot now.
Yeah, I was impressed with the way Adam Cole laid them all out. I mean, there were some great moves. You know, hit his finisher on a couple of them, used the steel chair. It was well done. If it just wasn't to ruin that good match. But, I mean, I see why they did it. They're trying to set up the main event for the next In Your House takeover, and that's perfectly fine, I suppose. But, yeah, I just kind of really wanted to see a winner there. But, you know, I guess we're going to get a multi-man match, which we'll get into here in a little bit. After that, back from the break, Adam Cole is refusing to leave the arena. That's when NXT General Manager William Regal was arguing with him, and finally his security forced Cole out. But that's when Ember Moon rushed past all this chaos and hit the ring with the mic. She's fired up and calls NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez out for a fight over what she did to Shotzi Blackheart last week. Moon threatens to hold the show hostage. That's when Gonzalez came out as NXT General Manager, tries to stop her as well. Regal had hardly no control over the beginning of the show, absolutely. Gonzalez rushes to the ring and they brawl. Moon sends Gonzalez back out and security forces her up the ramp. Gonzalez yells back at Moon and they have words. That's when Dakota Kai suddenly hit Ember Moon from behind and drops Moon as the fans continue to boo. A lot of booing from the fans earlier on. Kai unloads and hits a running big boot to knock Moon out of the ring. Regal checks on Moon at ringside as security holds Gonzalez backstage. So obviously it looks like they're building to Raquel Gonzalez and Ember Moon, which I believe, did they announce that by the end of the show, or or did I get that wrong?
Not that I know of.
It's coming, though. That's absolutely going to be.
It'll definitely come.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it makes sense. I mean, she took out her friend last week, even though Raquel Gonzalez lost. We talked about that, but they kept her strong by beating up Shotzi. And I believe Shotzi, I thought I heard somewhere she's got a legit injury. Did you hear that?
I have not. I haven't really heard much of anything NXT, really.
I heard it's possible that they might have written her off for a while, so that may have been why they did it. But I'm not sure exactly what the injury was. We got a pre-recorded promo with Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar talks about how Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde have supported him, so he will be at ringside tonight to support them as they challenge for the NXT Tag Team Championships against MSK. Wilde says tonight is their coronation, and they will follow in Escobar's footsteps to become leaders of leaders and champions of champions. Escobar says they will do what they do best and take what is theirs. All right, promo, set up the main event, so it was okay. Kind of there.
Setting up the main event, setting up essentially what Escobar is going to be doing in the coming weeks, I'm sure.
Right. So, yeah, after that we had an interesting segment with LA Knight versus Jake Atlas. The match was okay. I didn't think it was anything spectacular, but LA Knight come out with a Mikey Cuts a promo mentioning Cameron Grimes and tonight's opponent, Jake Atlas. He mentions that WWE Hall of Famer, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, will be watching tonight. Knight goes on and poses in the corner as we go to commercial. Obviously, we see a video from earlier in the day where Hit Row had words in the parking lot with Everrise, Drake Maverick, and Killian Dade. That's when they just go back to the ring and start the match. So it's kind of interesting they kind of threw that in there. But, yeah, so we had basically the story of this match basically comes down to LA Knight's in the ring wrestling Jake Atlas, and Ted DiBiase walks out on the stage to kind of give LA Knight a little bit of a look over here just to see, who he wants to support here with his $1 million endorsement, you might say. And that's when Cameron Grimes walks out to the ramp and is starting to talk with Ted DiBiase, and just by talking to Ted DiBiase, LA Knight apparently is distracted by this, and in typical WWE main roster fashion, he gets pinned by Jake Atlas here, so Cameron Grimes has a nice little laugh at it, and Ted DiBiase shakes his head. He can't believe this has happened to LA Knight. If it wasn't so main roster-esque, I might have enjoyed it a little more, but I still like the Ted DiBiase stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, we just don't see where it's going, but in what we did see tonight, it just, as much as I love what they're doing with Ted, tonight's stuff was just like, fucking why?
It felt like they were just trying to fill a little time.
Exactly, that's what it did feel like. It's like they just like, oh, we need to further this story, so we're gonna just have it this week.
Yeah,
I could have probably waited till next week.
Now it does set up the announcement a little bit later on about. Well, I'll just go ahead and say they set up the match in your house against Grimes and LA Knight. So, which we kind of called that was going to happen. We'll see if it ends up being for like the $1 Million Championship or whatever it might be, and Ted's endorsement overall. That could very well be the case, but we'll have to see where they go with that. Let's see, after this here, after the match, the music hit as Atlas celebrates. Grimes was all smiles, and he enjoys nice loss. DiBiase, like I said, looked disappointed. The cameraman shows us the triple threat competitors getting checked on in the locker room. Oney Lorca comes over and yells to the camera, saying, all we need to know is if it wasn't for Adam Cole, Pete Dunne would be the new #1 contender. That's when Austin Theory runs over and disagrees, saying the same thing about Johnny Gargano. Lorcan and Theory start brawling until security break it up. So, yeah, clearly, William Regal had no control over this show whatsoever.
Oh God, no. This first 30 minutes, just no control.
And commentary kept talking about how it's chaos and insanity tonight. So yeah, I guess they were just really trying to drive that point home for sure. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Ted DiBiase now, asking him who is worthy of the $1 Million legacy after tonight. DiBiase says LA Knight dropped the ball while Cameron Grimes proved that he has the brains to go with the brawn. We were talking before the show. What did he do to prove he had brains to go with the brawn? He just stood out there and talked to him.
Yeah, all he, like I said, is because what you said is his music didn't play.
Yeah.
He just willy-nilly walked out there, and LA Knight, for some fucking reason, got distracted by it. But when the phrase, he has proved he has the brains to go with the brawn.
Mm-hmm.
What was so smart? Obviously, yes, it was smart to come out there, possibly knowing just by you standing out there, LA Knight would get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly knowing. But
that's about as far as it went.
Exactly. But the way my brain works and how this should have went is the one time I would have agreed with, someone trying to distract an opponent that they're going to be facing in the future or they're having a feud with. This would be the one time you come out with your music.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm still kind of glad they did do that because we see it all the time. But yeah,
if that was going to be the phrase you went with, he has the brains to go with the brawn.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have him come out to his music?
Right, because what he was doing wasn't really much of a distraction. It shouldn't have really cost LA Knight anything, but for whatever reason,
LA Knight should have just noticed, focused.
Yeah,
music, as much as we all fucking hate it, would have made a little bit more sense in this distraction finish.
Yeah, at least it would have been something a little more than just standing there in the aisleway.
Yeah, Cameron Grimes' thing is like, if I come out with my music, it'll distract him.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. But no.
And that's why I didn't really care for it. Just too much, like I said, main roster style, finish here, which I'm not a big fan of. But at least...
But see, in this feud, though, it would make sense. They're both trying to essentially vie for Ted's effect here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Cameron Grimes is going to see LA Knight has a match. I'm going to go ruin it for him.
Right. Yeah.
So distract him, cause him to lose.
Mm-hmm. Which will cause
Ted to doubt him. Like in this feud alone, for at least this show, this feud alone, the distraction made sense, but it was just executed poorly.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Absolutely. Back from the break, we had Vic Joseph announce that Poppy will be on NXT next week. They've got an obsession with this singer.
And I don't care.
I mean, don't be wrong. She's definitely a screamer when it comes to her music, for sure.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, save it for fucking In Your House.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, they had it for Stand and Deliver, I think. Big shows, I get it. I mean, they like, to do that sort of thing with some of the musicians that they like. They like to have them on multiple times. So, I mean, I guess we'll get to see her next week. We'll see what happens. Then we had, obviously, Adam Cole storm to the ring here with a mic as fans started booing because he cost him a great match earlier. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. He says exactly 2 years ago, he became NXT champion. And whether NXT or William Regal wants to admit it or not, we're looking at the real #1 contender. Cole has been gone for 2 months and has watched while everyone failed at living up to his legacy. Cole brags on taking out 3 of NXT's top stars and doing it in one night. Cole says this means he wants the NXT title back, which brings him to the NXT champion Karrion Kross. Cole says people think Kross is some kind of monster, but Cole sees through him, and he's nothing but a big, overrated musclehead who doesn't deserve to be in the same ring as Cole. Cole goes on about how it wasn't a mistake that he held the NXT title for over 400 days. The music hits, and out comes Karrion Kross with Scarlett. Kross steps to Cole and calls him Little Man. Kross understands Cole's motives tonight, but no matter what he does, it'll never change things in the grand scheme of things. Kross says as soon as he signed with NXT, Cole no longer became special, and Cole knows that. Cole says Kross isn't Adam Cole and never will be. Cole says NXT has done everything possible to make Kross feel special with the entrance, the fog, the girl, but what do they do to make Kross feel special? They ring the bell, and Cole says on Kross's best day, he can't lace his boots and hang with him, and anyone who watches pro wrestling knows that.
So what they did to make Kross feel special is to give him the music, the fog, the girl, but what do they do to make Cole feel special?
Yeah,
you said Kross again.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. So Cole just basically is special because he goes out and performs. This is the point he's trying to make here.
The way I took this when he said that is like, was that really like? I was just like, I think that's not like that means the opposite. When I first said it, I was like, hold on, to make him feel special, they just ring the bell. And then now actually reading it, I was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Cole is just straight up special, and they just essentially have to do nothing to enhance his special.
Right, because he's already more talented than Karrion Kross is, I think, what he's trying to get across.
Which, I mean, you could have a debate about that.
right. I mean, Kross is great too, but there's a lot of that stuff going on, like Cole said.
Again, though, that's just the size difference. Is like Kross is good at what he does, and Cole is good at what he does.
Right.
That's why, to kind of go back, because I know Punk had, the best in the world Jericho had his little slogan, "Best in the world at what I do."
Right, right.
Big distinctions there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
and when comparing, oh, Kross is better than Cole, Cole's better than Kross. It's like, well, kind of. I mean, it just depends on your perspective. Cole is good at what he does. Kross, I guarantee you, can't do a lot of the stuff, if not some of the stuff Cole does.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole definitely cannot do what Kross does.
Oh no, definitely not.
So I don't really understand. I never understood the whole, oh, so and so is better than this person, or especially when there's like a size difference, just that, like, just the minute size, their style of wrestling, and it's like completely different.
It's kind of like 1A and 1B. And in this case, it's
like,
got to be 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E. But because
well, exactly. But it's like, who was it? It was Ricochet recently, I guess, pissed off a lot of the fans because he's like, he went off, was like, I am like the best high flyer in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And someone brought up Io Shirai, and he's like,
yeah.
He went like, no disrespect to her, but I'm better than her. It's like, okay, cool, you think that, but I mean,
you might be physically, but booking wise, no, you're not, because they've totally ruined him.
They ruined you with the booking, and I mean, yeah, you've got the athleticism, but so does she.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, basically, this
It's
all
just pointless shit.
Yeah. This all led to William Regal coming out and says he sees what Adam Cole is trying to do. Weasel himself into a title match, but it's not going to work. Kross yells at Regal to shut up. Kross doesn't care what Regal or Cole thinks. This is about what Kross wants to do, and what Kross wants at TakeOver is everyone in the match. Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and this gas station weasel, Adam Cole. Kross says there's no way Cole will be able to get out of this ass-kicking. They face off and have words as Regal thinks it over. Regal smirks and says the match is done. Cole exits the ring and rips the top off the announce table. He stands on top of the table and yells about running the show. Fans chant his name now as Cole goes on about running the show. Cole throws a water bottle in the ring at Kross and Scarlett. He then taunts Kross, calling him a punk and talking more trash. Cole makes his exit through the barrier. So, yeah, this was really great. I did like this confrontation between Cole and Kross.
I did not hear Regal say anything about the match being done.
Yeah, well, this article may have it wrong.
Being made.
But they did make it by the end of this night. So, either
Well,
way.
yeah, that's just like, I didn't know at this point in the show. I was like, are they gonna do just Cole, or are they going to do what Kross just said and give him all of them?
Yeah, well, and like I told you off air here, I am very excited about this 5-way. I think it's going to be a great match. It's going to be amazing.
God, this match is...
But there's a big but here, in my opinion. I feel like, especially if Karrion Kross retains, and you would think he would, but I don't know. They may, change course. I hope they wouldn't that soon. But here's the problem: if Kross retains, they just blew their load, so to speak, if you want to put it in those terms. And now, who would challenge him after this? If he defeats all 4 of them, I mean, you just beat Finn Balor.
They'll do the cop out booking. They'll have Kross pin.
I didn't lose. You pinned someone else, not me.
Exactly. I didn't eat the pin, therefore I didn't lose the match.
And I'm going to hate this more if they do that. And if AEW does the same thing about Pac and says, Pac wasn't pinned by Kenny Omega, I'm going to hate that too, because
it's lazy booking.
Yeah, as we've discussed, you're in the match, you're going to lose whether you take the pinfall or not. So I won't like it if AEW does it. I won't like it if NXT does it.
It's just a cop out, and it's like at that point when they go with that story, like, oh, I didn't eat the pin, so I should get a shot of the title myself.
Right.
And to me, that makes you think, it's like, okay, then if you're going to go with that story of, oh, he didn't eat the pin, then why in the fuck did you book it for a multi-man match?
Yeah, I mean, because everybody in the world knows it's still a loss for whoever is in the match.
Well, yeah, anyone with the brain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously there will be people who defend.
But no, with this 5-way, say, Cole eats the pin here.
Mm-hmm.
according to this style of booking, this saves for Dunn, O'Reilly, and Gargano.
Mm-hmm.
Then why in the fuck did you not just book Cole versus Kross like Cole fucking wanted in the first place?
Yeah, and hold the other guys off. That way he has other challengers he's not beaten
That's
yet.
at least that's between Cole coming back tonight and then ruining the match.
Which already makes those three guys look weak.
They don't. To me, it didn't affect them. They got blindsided by fucking Adam Cole after an already grueling match with.
True.
But that saves you at least 4 more months of competitors for Kross. Cole at NXT in your house. Oh, Cole loses. Then you have the other 3 who can then get fed to him.
Mm-hmm.
Until you're ready for Balor to take it off.
Yeah, if you want to go that route, absolutely.
In your house.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely do that. Or, maybe by then you've already built up somebody else to make a run at the title too. But this seems like it's awful quick.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know at this point. I'm just saying maybe by then. I mean, that's 4 months down the road. If you were to go that route, you'd have time to build up somebody else maybe. But, I mean, who knows what they do with Bronson Reed or something like that. But... yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, this match is going to be outstanding. It's going to be possibly a match of the year candidate, absolutely. But I just worry about the finish here and what they do after that fact. But we'll see what they do. Maybe they'll just do it and move on. But after that, it'll be like you said, who do they have challenging if you beat all the challengers? But we'll see. After this, we had McKenzie backstage with women's NXT champion. Tag team champions, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. She asked them about Poppy returning next week, and LeRae can't believe she's asking about Poppy. She goes on about her husband beating Karrion Kross at NXT TakeOver and wonders why NXT keeps bringing Poppy back. Good question. LeRae wonders if Poppy has tried to become the next Bad Bunny or something, which I didn't like that line. LeRae notices... yeah. LeRae notices that Hartwell is distracted. Hartwell is listening to music on her headphones. 80s love ballads. They put down the headphones and walked off so you could hear the music that was playing. This is just kind of setting up this Dexter Lumis thing that they're about to do here in a little bit. Wade Barrett says we have an answer to Kushida's open challenge for the NXT Cruiserweight title. Barrett says this man is formerly known as Christian Casanova, but now he goes by Carmelo Hayes, and he's been impressing people at the WWE Performance Center. And they get a little bit of a hype video for him. I obviously don't have any clue who this guy is. I've heard of the name, but...
neither of his names spark anything in my mind.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Christian Casanova, but that's about as far as it goes. I thought he had a good match with Kushida here, which is up next here. Like I said, it was pretty solid, pretty good match. Again, I don't necessarily mind the open challenge stuff, but they are doing a lot of it lately, especially on SmackDown. Well, or Raw, I should say, with Sheamus. And, of course, now they're doing it here. It kind of makes you wonder if they're kind of copying each other a smidge, but that's... not that big of a nitpick, I suppose. Basically, the match ends up with Hayes countering and taking Kushida down with another impressive move. Hayes yells at Kushida to get up. He has a move block. Kushida drops him and nails a drop kick. Kushida with the huge right hand to drop Hayes. Hayes dodges a kick. They trade holds, and Hayes fights off the hoverboard lock. Kushida gets the upper hand and drops Hayes, then delivers a running kick. Kushida applies the hoverboard lock in the middle of the ring, and Hayes taps out to the finish. So at least a clean finish here, so I'll give him that. The champion got over, looked strong, so I'm always a proponent for that. So in that case, well executed here for this Cruiserweight Open challenge. After the match, Kushida stands tall and celebrates as his music plays. They go to replay, and Kushida offers Hayes a hand as he gets back to his feet. They shake hands, and Kushida heads up the ramp with the title in the air. So nice show of respect. That's always a good thing to see as well. So, MSK is backstage getting ready for tonight's title defense against Legado del Fantasma. They're confident about retaining. After the break, we get Frankie Monet backstage with her makeup crew. She reads some of her reviews online from her debut match last week. I don't believe a single one of these reviews that she was reading. I think they're completely scripted. That was not happening. I don't think really anybody cared. Anyway, she says she's just getting started, and we'll see where she goes from here, I suppose. NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Zayda Ramir and Zoe Stark. Again, not a bad little match here. Again, NXT's wrestling is usually pretty good in my opinion. Nothing major that was wrong with it that I could see here. LeRae took Ramir down. LeRae delivers the Wicked Stepsister as Hartwell launches herself in from the apron with a springboard for the pretty savage elbow drop. Hartwell covers Ramir for the pin to win. Again, the champions get a victory here. I don't know exactly where the champions are going to go here for the tag team women's belts here. Obviously, with Shotzi hurt now, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon with Ember and Shotzi. So, who do you think challenges going forward? I don't know who they have. It's kind of a weak women's tag division. They got a great women's division, but
yeah. But like, it's just I don't know who the hell's even in there. Who like even? I don't know who's in the tag division.
Yeah, I really don't think NXT has a whole lot. That's the problem here.
Nope.
I mean, they just beat one of the contenders, I suppose, even though they were not really contenders. But that was a tag team, I suppose, or at least they put two singles together for one night anyway. That's kind of what I felt about it. So I don't know. We'll see what they do. But as of right now, it just kind of seems like the women's tag team champions are spinning the wheels at the moment. But we'll see what they do. We go backstage to Mercedes Martinez. She knows Xia Li isn't the same woman she faced at the Mae Young Classic years ago, but Martinez is also different, and she's not worried about Li. Martinez goes on and says Li stands in her way of the NXT Women's title, and at TakeOver, she will run right through her. We were talking a little bit, the lady who put the mark on Mercedes Martinez's hand, I believe that's Tian Shaw. That's not Xia Li, but I think she's part of her group. So I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know much about this Tian Lee, or Tian Shaw, I should say.
Transparency, I've only recently got back into NXT in the last month.
Yeah, we both have since Mania for the most part. I'm pretty sure she's just kind of part of that group with Tian Shaw and whoever that guy was that was following Mercedes around last week. So if she goes through Xia Li, then we might get Tian Shaw or maybe that match, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely Mercedes Martinez kind of on her way back to the women's championship, sounds like, eventually. We have the announcement of Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight at TakeOver, plus the Fatal 5-Way for the NXT title. And even though William Regal is busy and hasn't booked it yet, it looks like Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez as well, and probably Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez. So all of which will be great matches if they sign all those. Well, they've signed most of them, and that'll be a good TakeOver in your house for sure. Let's see here. Back from the break, we get a new MMA themed vignette for the Diamond Mine. It says he or she or they or whoever it is will be opening soon. There's still no word on what this is for. I have no idea if it's a group person. Obviously, it's maybe whoever it is going to have some training in MMA. So cool. We'll see what they do. I guess I don't know. They've been kind of building this Diamond Mine for a while now, so we'll see what they do eventually here. We had Mackenzie Mitchell backstage with Ember Moon. She's still upset over what happened earlier. She can't understand why the dominant NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez keeps having Dakota Kai fight her battles for her. Moon says she's going to start taking pieces of Gonzalez, starting next week with her insurance policy, Dakota Kai. Then at TakeOver, she will take the title from Gonzalez. Beth Phoenix confirms that Moon versus Kai for next week, along with Poppy's return. So, yeah, at least they set up a match for next week. I'll give them credit for that. So that's always a good thing, building a...
Isn't this the only match they've set up for next week?
As far as I know, I couldn't tell you for sure, but I think that's the only one they really built in the Poppy return. They've got those two things going on. Okay. Yeah, but other than that, for now, unlike AEW, they usually give you a full card for next week at this point, but maybe we'll get a little more between now and then, but sometimes WWE don't plan that far ahead. NXT Tag Team Titles match was the main event of the show. Legado del Fantasma versus MSK. Another great match. We had Santos Escobar at ringside for this, as he said earlier. The match got "This is awesome" chance, so that tells you how good it was. We had the Carter knocks down off the apron with a chief shot. Wild and Mendoza continue taking turns on Lee in the corner as Escobar looks on. Wild delivers a Hurricane Rana into a power bomb from Mendoza, but Lee still kicks out somehow. Wild and Mendoza can't believe it. Mendoza unloads on Lee while he's down. Lee gets kicked out of the ring right in front of Escobar. Escobar grabs Lee and sends him into the steel ring steps while the referee isn't looking. They bring Lee back into the ring for another double team, but Carter breaks the pin up just before the 3 count. Escobar sees at ringside. That's when NXT North American champion Bronson Reed runs over out of nowhere and smashes Escobar into the plexiglass barrier. Bronson Reed stands guard to make sure Escobar stays down. That's when MSK turns it around in the ring, and they hit a double team blockbuster on Wild for the pin to retain in the middle of the ring. So good solid main event here. It set up the Bronson Reed Santos Escobar match, furthering that feud, and of course MSK retaining over one of their contenders. And they've got a few other teams vying for those belts too, so they've got places to go still. So I had no trouble with them beating Legado del Fantasma here. So I actually like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as what's going on with the show, it seems like they know what they're doing with the North American title. As much as it's confusing and baffling, they seem to know what they're doing with the NXT title. The women's title, it seems they know what they're doing. So, I mean,
it's just
there's a lot of good still going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just the NXT tag team women's belts, for the most part, are kind of in limbo at this point, and maybe the cruiserweight a little bit. But other than that, I mean, they're telling some solid stories. I'm still curious to see what happens with the Ted DiBiase, Grimes, and all that stuff. They got a story there. And, of course, I'm still interested to see what's going on with Loomis and Hartwell, where this is going.
Did we talk about the fact that Dexter Loomis did pick up those headphones?
He did, yeah. He found those headphones she dropped earlier.
And it looked like he had a tear in his eye.
Yeah, he was listening to the music she was listening to.
I don't know how I feel about this whole Dexter Loomis, Indy Hartwell thing.
Yeah, I don't either. It depends on where they take it.
Really because right now it's giving me real fucking creep vibes, and I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely playing with the creepy factor of it for sure. But yeah, it's just kind of like one of those deals where I give NXT more credit to when it comes to, we'll see where they take it a lot of times. Sometimes, main roster, I'm just like, okay, this is
I'll give them more leeway with what they're doing.
Right. So I'm willing to give them a benefit of the doubt for now. But
this
has been going on a while.
Entirely on their storylines just because they've done well in the past. Unlike Raw.
Right.
But with NXT, I'll give them leeway. It's like, okay, they've done stuff well in the past. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah. So,
and if it goes to shit town, I'm gonna take it to shit town.
No one will blame me there. Like I said, there's some things on here I have a little issues with, like if they're doing things like the main roster. I've felt that about NXT ever since they went to USA. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they're trying to do better for a network. But when they were on the WWE network, I felt like they were doing things their way and it didn't matter. Ratings or anything like that didn't matter. So they were just doing good, proper booking and storytelling and great matches. Now I feel like they're trying to sometimes do too much.
As when they were on the network, they had to get people to actually pay to see the show. So they put on good shows.
Now it's
it made it feel like you were getting your money's worth of wrestling.
And I still feel like that sometimes.
Now being on USA, they don't necessarily have to do that because people are going to be paying for cable anyway.
Right. And sometimes USA wants to see certain things too, so they may have an influence on some of those decisions, which bothers me with all the WWE USA brands, and even Fox might have an influence on SmackDown. That stuff bothers me. And yeah, I mean, it happens with AEW and TNT or TBS. That is always a thing. But it just seems like some of the stuff WWE does, it bothers me a little more. But they all have their issues, so I'm not going to kill it too much, I suppose. But overall, I thought this was a great main event. It was a good ending to the show. And I am interested to see some I'm interested to see where a lot of the storylines go as we move into TakeOver in Your House. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think about what happened on NXT for June 11th, 2021? Comment down below. Let us know. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put up new content here on our channel. And until our next review, guys, take care.
Yeah, ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right, I swear to God that I can chop you, bro. Yeah. got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable.